Our first position up today is Deputy President Education. We're going to watch a short video from the current DPE, Chunyan San, talking about what he's been doing in the role. Soon.
Thanks, Philippa. Of the 4 candidates for Deputy President Education, 3 are here today. Kamna Ashu was unable to join us this evening. Let's hear from them. Luke.
Thanks, Paul. Luke McCrone here. If elected, I will promise to achieve the following. I will improve the speed and quality of feedback in college by instigating a college-wide feedback traffic light system, already being tested successfully. I will look to instigate questionnaires which deliver high-resolution feedback for coursework assignments, aiming to improve student assessment. I will review the support in place for postgraduates and ensure that basic college policies are being adhered to. Most importantly, I will listen to you and act accordingly.
Thank you. And next candidate is Yiya.
Hi everyone, my name is Yiya. I'm very glad to be here tonight to discuss how we can use this position to make a union a better place for studying experience from all of the Imperial College students. I'm presenting the whole business school as Academic and Welfare Officer from Graduate Student Union, and I was also nominated as the Dean's Advisory Council. I'm very glad to bring all of my international experience of studying and working in Spain, UK, US, to bring some new fresh air in this education system. Thank you.
And last but not least, our final candidate for this position is Alexander Mytenka.
Hi, I'm Alex Mytenka. As DPE, I aim to achieve 3 main goals: expand feedback pathways, aid departments in improving student satisfaction, and lay the foundation for a new, modern and practical online learning system. These goals are achievable, and I have the determination, leadership and work ethic to drive this change. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have some questions to ask. A question for everyone to start with. There's been much discussion around the academic causes of poor mental health. How would you work with the DPW, the Deputy President of Welfare, to identify these and tackle them? If I ask Luke first.
Yep, sure. Thank you for the question. So a big part of my manifesto is actually aimed at postgraduates, so we'll start there as a safe starting point. And part of what I want to do here is review the support in place. And the reason I want to do this is because we have postgraduate students right from internationals to English students. And I feel that, firstly, the Graduate Student Union is not fully represented. Secondly, I feel that there are, amongst pockets of excellence, areas of weakness in the college. And this is where the courses are not adhering to basic college policy. Things like having a personal tutor, things like having Wednesday afternoons off. So I would work with the welfare officer, but what I'd also do is I'd go around at the departmental level. I'd ensure that the courses are adhering to these college policies for the sake of the student.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and the same question to Yiya?
I think one of the biggest challenges for most of international students is they might come across a lot of culture shock, and they have the difficulty to adapt their learning and life in the British culture. So I would, if I was elected, I will be holding my campaign for the next academic year, the first week of the greeting week, welcome week, to set up the learning and the culture shock events to help international students get more involved and engage with British home students as well.
Okay, thank you. And Alex?
Yeah, I agree here with Luke in terms of the support system does need to be updated and does need to be reviewed. Now, on Luke's case about not adhering to union policies such as Wednesdays, I think the problem is also that it's not there, but it's not consistent. Like, for example, I'm in the CP and I actually do have the Wednesday afternoons off, but I know for a fact a lot of postgraduates don't, and yes, that does need reviewing. But in terms of welfare, I would not just do it for the Deputy President of Welfare, I would go down to the departmental level, because as we're talking about things like feedback and student satisfaction, some people, like for myself in the first term, are kind of quiet, nervous, trying to get into university life, and may not be able to give give that feedback because they don't feel confident enough to do that, and that's what we need to do. But we need to do it at departmental level as well.
Okay, thank you. So, question to Yiya first now. How confident are you in proposing things that the college don't want to change to academics? How would you persuade them?
From my point of view, to persuade someone is not just about the fact, but also bring all of the benefit the student can be emotionally engaged. So I think social community footprint can be a really good method to get information across. So people can share their ideas and experience, such as like case study, share their story, storytelling content rich. This will be more easier to get information across and will be more persuadable.
Okay. A question for Alex.
Yes.
You mentioned in your opening statement as well, you want to lay the foundations of a simpler online learning system.
Yes.
What is wrong with the current one? Is that a promise that you can keep? Because changing it would cost a lot of money.
But then again, we are also spending money to have the current systems we have. And in my opinion, we are at the forefront in the world for science and technology. And to be fair, it boggles my mind that we don't have a in-house system that we can adapt for each different one, which is easy and practical. Like, I'll give you an example. The SSIS system, which I would base this on, one page, personal information, timetable, your coursework, your modules, and your results. There's no going into different tabs. There's no issue with that. In terms of online courses, one thing's going to postgraduate, which was weird to me, was how complex it is to put things into Turnitin. Whereas, Luke will vouch for me on this, when we were in the RSM with the SSIS system, we just had one submission. Then the department took care of that for us. And I think that, plus in that practicality for students, because students have a lot of things to think of on their mind, that's where we need to go forward.
Okay, thank you. And question to Luke. You say that you want to ensure that all taught postgraduates adhere to the college policy of free Wednesday afternoons and things like that. If the central college can't make the departments do this, though, how would you manage to do this?
Well, no, it's an absolutely valid point. It's something I've thought long and hard about. For me, what it is going around at the departmental level, and it's actually something I've been doing as part of my preparation for this role. I've gone around for a good 2 months speaking to people up and down college, and the best people I feel to address this issue to are actually the people head of undergrad coordinating the courses. They are the ones that need to see my point of view and then work alongside me to achieve it.
Okay, thank you very much. So finally, in 10 seconds, can you please tell me why you are the best candidate for this role? So I'm going to start this time with Alex.
Well, in terms of, as I said, leadership, development, and work ethic, for my goals, we need someone to be a Captain Whiplash, and I will be that Captain Whiplash.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm the best candidate because you can never underestimate a business person can bring this science and research related and focused university, because we're the one who can build the bridge, foster the communication and the process from research to the industry.
Okay, thank you. And Luke?
Students at home, I'm a leader. I will represent you. I've been a whole senior subordinate and year rep. I've held many positions. It's an absolute privilege to be sitting here, and it would be an even more of a privilege to take on the role next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all of our candidates, and we're now over to the pundit panel.
Okay, we're back. Okay, technical issues aside. Do remember I was a Felix editor, I made a newspaper, not a radio show. So we're back to the pundit panel. Pascal, we've just heard from Deputy President's education candidates. What were your thoughts about some of the things they were saying?
Thank you. Yeah, I really enjoyed that they were talking about online learning, because this has been an ongoing issue over the last couple of years. We've seen this issue in a couple of manifestos. All the three candidates now have it in their manifesto, so it's really nice that they're addressing this issue. What also stood out was that they want to work with the academics, which is very important, because there's only so much you can do by advocating from a student's perspective, but never taking in the perspective of staff. So you have to take that into consideration. Mm-hmm. So being willing to work with academics is really important. So I'm glad that came across.
But they've got to be careful. There are many academics, and it could take a long time to ask every academic their opinion. and maybe the opinions are going to be quite diverse across
Yeah.
the whole college.
Mm.
So I think they're setting themselves up for a huge task, and they only have, well, 9 months really to start getting policies in place.
Yeah, especially if you consider the learning curve at the beginning. So
Yeah, it really takes a couple of months to get settled into the position.
Mm.
Once October starts, all the academics, all the staff are very much focused on welcoming the new students. College is very busy, so I think they need a good plan.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges from, you know, interacting with academics is some of them are very set in their ways. We've got, you know, researchers here who've been here many years, and it is a bit difficult to perhaps bring them into, you know, our framework of things, especially when they've got other things going on apart from undergraduate teaching as well. But I think all of our candidates would be up to that challenge. Marissa, as former Deputy President Welfare, how do you think education and welfare SABs can work together, and what experience do you have with this from your year?
So I had an excellent DPE that worked alongside me, Nat, who's doing very well at the moment. And I think it was really important that we asked the question about mental health to the Deputy President Education candidates as well, because these issues are just so like intrinsically linked together, like coursework stress, interruptions of studies, these kind of things. They're really common, and you require the sort of two sides of the same issue to be worked out. So I think it's good communication, a good working relationship, and also just getting on board with the same priorities at the beginning of the year is really important. And mental health is, you know, really
It's
big
one of the
issue.
bigger topics. I think a lot of SABs, you know, all of them should start to think about perhaps a bit more as, you know, they take on their roles. Nathaniel, how does education fit into the wider union strategy? A bit of a curveball of a question, not to put you on the panel.
That's a really difficult question.
No, I'm not Paul Beaumont,
right, on the spotlight. Well, funny you say that. Paul Beaumont did set out the union strategy 2013 to 2016. So essentially, the union are there to lobby college to help improve education, to make the education a better experience for students, and I guess to make sure education, or the students' education, is relevant to today's society.
Cool.